Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, going to be a pretty entertaining email that was sent from a subscriber. This from a guy, he doesn't say how old he is, but I'm guessing he's got to be at least 40s, maybe 50s at this point. And he shares his story about how he gave a serious dose of reality to a gal that works for him. This gal's in her late 20s. From the way he described it, she's pretty, but she's masculine. She's one of these quote-unquote boss babe types, but obviously still has her looks. And he gave her a dose of reality about what she really can expect to get in terms of what she brings to the table, what her value is. And let's just say she didn't like it very much. Made it clear about her delusions, about obviously getting a guy with all these qualities around her age, what she can really get, that type of thing. And like I said, she doesn't take it too well, but in the end, there's a funny twist here to see that she now is starting to understand some things. And I thought I'm going to go over here, guys. One, because of course it's entertaining and you're all going to laugh at this story. But two, is a refresher about the level of delusion that is out there, which I know many of you guys are quite well aware of. The delusion that so many women have about what they really have to offer and bring to the table. You know, oftentimes you hear them talking about, I have these advanced degrees, and I make all this money, and I have this position at my job, and, all these things that to a guy it's like, so? I mean, that's cool, congratulations, but that's not attractive. The qualities that they brag about are the things they look for in guys. That's not what guys really care about. Also, these types that really oftentimes the jokes about the ones that are like 4s or 5s but think that they're 9s or 10s, they think that, and they feel entitled to a type of guy who is like typically the 1%, if that. And what I mean by that is you've all heard the jokes about the 6s. Wanting guys that are 6 feet tall or higher, 6-pack, 6-figure income, 6 inches or more down south, and throw in, I don't know, speaking a foreign language, travels the world, plays a musical instrument, goes on and on. And if you look at what percentage of guys actually are above 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, 6-pack, all that, get good luck trying to find that guy. Even trying to find a guy with one of those things. And yet they feel entitled to that guy. Completely unrealistic, and this guy, again, points these things out. And also, just as also a point about how just they don't like reality. When you try to talk about this, they're so pissed off about it. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through this. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. He says here, Dear SSM, this is a story of how my boss babe massage therapist found out RP lessons the hard way. Well, they always find out the hard way. That doesn't mean they're going to like them. I'll rely on you to try and mention it so I don't get any problems. A few years ago, I started exercising and started losing a bunch of weight. By the way, I got below 15% body fat, and it feels really good. Congratulations, man. Good for you. Instead of just sitting around complaining that you're overweight and out of shape and all that, you did something about it. And I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. So good for you. See, it's possible, gentlemen. It says here, I highly recommend it. I got below 15% body fat. It feels really good. I highly recommend it. Anyway, during this, I would get muscle cramps, so I started hiring a massage therapist to come by to help me out. A few notes about her. She was late 20s, ran her massage business independently, and objectively speaking, pretty fit and cute. I had been R-pilled prior by an unrelated relationship and really wasn't interested in trying to deal with any nonsense, but we would talk during the massages. Okay, so he said late 20s. He says fit, cute, all that. So in her 20s, probably doesn't have a very difficult time getting guys. But we're going to get into the whole boss babe thing here. And guess what? Guys don't like boss babes. Type A's, masculine women. It's a turnoff. Over the course of the massages, she ended up confiding in me that she had a rough childhood and a bad relationship with her dad. Daddy issues. And that she struggled in relationships. She had a really expensive hobby. He asked me to keep her hobby anonymous, but it's nothing out there, but fine. And in my observation, she was very controlling and stuck in her masculine. Well, if she owns her own business, obviously she's very driven, and I can respect anybody that starts their own business and does well. But it takes a certain personality to, make that stuff happen. I later verified the last point after about a year when she was upset that she had nothing to do for her birthday, and I took her out for a small outing. smack. This is a chick that works for you. I think, I'm not sure if you said she comes to your place to do the massages or you go to her place of business, but if she comes to your place, that's crazy because, well, I'll get into that for lots of reasons, but I'll get to that later. If she's in her 20s and she's good looking and she's fit and she is alone and no relationships or anybody in her life, obviously she's doing something wrong. Obviously she's behaving in a way that turns guys off, or she's so picky and unrealistic with what she can get that she's alone, which happens all the time. Initially, she was super bitchy and like arguing with the service people kind of thing. I had to metaphorically wrestle her with her a bit to put her in her place before she calmed down. After which she actually was pretty pleasant and sweet, but I can see how she'd run guys off. So you took her out for her birthday, which I think is crazy. You don't mix business with pleasure. Okay, you ought to know better, dude. Yeah, by the way, smack for that. You always can tell about a person's character, how they treat people in the service industry. Right here. If she's being bitchy and rude and arguing with service people at a restaurant or wherever you went, that'll tell you everything you need to know. Now, yeah, you can get bad service and you're allowed to call them on it, but I think you all get my point. She similarly told me a story of trying to go take dance classes with a guy, but ended up arguing with him about not doing it right, and then arguing with the instructor when he came to help. You know, that type I'm talking about. Why the fuck do you work with her? Seriously. Unless she does a very good job and, really helps you out, with any cramps or problems you may have. I'm sure you can find somebody else that isn't a bitch. Why give her an income? She sounds like a type A asshole. A few months passed by and she confessed to me that now she's older, she really wants to settle down with a guy and she's struggling. Gee, I wonder why. He says, try to analyze this a bit with the numbers. I told her I could teach her how to get a cop or a fireman, just show up at the station with cookies, and they make about $80,000 a year, but that wasn't enough money for her. She's in her late 20s, okay? Guess what? If she found a lot of guys aren't even making that in the late 20s, because I'm going to guess probably she's probably looking for a guy right around her age. No way in hell she wanted some dude in her 40s or 50s that would have higher incomes and all that. No, she's hoping for that guy that's right around her age. I know a number of women, I'm acquainted with them, that they wanted guys that, could bring all these things to the table, but it was unrealistic for the age range. And guess what? These women are still alone. I asked her what was the minimum money she needed and ended up being, wait for it, $150,000 a year because of her expensive hobby. Why can't she make that money herself to pay for her expensive hobby? And he asked me not to mention her expensive hobby, so I'm respecting that, but it's not that big a deal. But anyhow, $150,000 a year. She's looking for a guy in the late 20s making $150,000 a year. Okay, fine. I'm sure if she went to New York City or San Francisco or Los Angeles or one of the major cities and maybe places that have financial offices or tech companies, then you could. But then there's a question. They may make a high income in that city, but how far does that go in that city with a high cost of living or taxes? Or do these guys have giant student loans? Did she ever factor all that in? But trying to find a guy in your late 20s that makes $150,000 a year and actually that money has actually money to spend afterwards after taxes and high cost of living and student loans, good freaking luck. But in their mind, hey, they're everywhere. I told her that for that price, a guy could go find a couple coffee baristas and pay them their salaries to keep them on retainer. So why would he bother with her? She got pretty mad about this. Well, you're right. A guy that is doing very well for himself, or just well. I was even say very well. Why would he want a chick like her, who's a bossy pain in the ass, argumentative, masculine, a boss babe? Nobody likes those types. They're assholes. When he can get some gal that's a barista, who's cute and feminine and all that, and guess what? If she's pretty, if she takes care of herself, she's feminine, she's fun, guys aren't going to care what she fucking does for a living. Then I told her, if that's what she really wanted, her best bet was to get a guy in his 50s named Chuck or Carl with a bald head and a beer gut, and maybe he'll take care of her. Yeah, I'm sure that went over real well. At this point, she kind of hit the roof at the thought of that guy touching her. Needless to say, that was the end of my dating advice. Well, I wouldn't advise giving unsolicited advice, especially dating advice, particularly to a woman. So I want you to take this in, guys. He's telling her, a gal in her 20s, who he says is fit and good looking, there's no way in hell you're going to get a guy like that unless a guy in his 50s or something, 40s or 50s, beer belly, balding, all that. Good fucking luck. She doesn't want to hear that because in her mind, hey, I'm amazing. Because she was raised in it, I believe she was amazing in school and in the movies and the shows and the narrative and the media. Well, let's see how that works out for her. So a few months passed by and we had a petty falling out where she kind of freaked out and disappeared cold turkey. This is why I don't mix business with pleasure, dude. I don't chase after people, so I figured she'd surface when she surfaced. I was right, and about a year later, she popped up on a voicemail telling me I was right about everything, and she's sorry. I'm actually impressed that she admitted that you were right. But notice she said that he was right. But I'm even more amazed that she apologized. The story goes like this. She was upset after I told her about the old bald fat guy thing, so she ended up hooking up with a guy in his 20s, a fit guy, I guess to prove that she still has it. They had a lot of unprotected sex, and somehow she wound up pregnant and had the kid. Well, that's going to happen when you're not wearing protection. Now here's the question. Is that what she wanted? Was that really the goal? Because, I mean, she's obviously not stupid. She's unrealistic. She's stupid in her expectations of what she thinks she can get, but she's obviously smart in other ways. I have to question if this was an accident. I think she's just hoping to trap a guy. Did that guy make 6 figures? Did that guy make 150 grand a year or whatever? Now he doesn't want anything to do with her or the kid and hung her out to dry. Well, that's the Chad and Tyrone role. And she was struggling trying to work while being a single mom. Well, then she should have been so stupid having the unprotected sex. All I could tell her was, well, Chuck doesn't sound so bad right now, does he? At which she laughed at that. The end. So anyhow, guys, like I said, it's a quick story, but the point is, how many of you guys out there have tried to have a realistic conversation with gals that maybe in your family, you're friends with, hell, even a coworker, which I would not have these conversations with your coworkers. You're out of your fucking mind to do that nowadays. Don't talk about dating or anything like that. But you guys, a lot of you guys are, some of you guys can be morons. They're still going to do it anyway in the workplace, which I warn you not to do. But the point is, they don't like the reality. They don't like hearing about the truth. And the truth is, guess what? Statistically, good luck trying to find a guy with all those things. They don't care. They still want that. And the guys that do have those things, why are they going to want you? Especially the ones that are older. Really. You know, at the end of the day, these guys would rather go for a gal that has no college degree, graduated high school, maybe got a GED, working as a coffee barista at some nice independent looking place, but she's pretty, she's fun personality, feminine, all that, as opposed to a gal that has advanced degrees and high paying job and all that stuff. They don't care, because guys don't want some boss babe. They don't want some masculine ass chick. It's like being in a date or relationship with a dude. But anyhow, the level of delusion out there is unreal. And what the funny thing is, and I've covered plenty of stories like this, and I'm sure some of you guys have encountered women like this, these types don't ever get it. They continue on thinking that they're so amazing, there's so much to offer, and in time they'll find that guy that is right at their age, makes that money, has that status, all that, and they keep turning down good guys. And when I say turning down, they usually reject them kind of in a bitchy manner. And then the day comes, their next thing you know, they're in their 40s. And all of a sudden, they're alone and crying and upset because they don't have a man, they don't have children. And the last person they ever accept any blame for is that they're the ones because they're pickiness and all that. And yes, I'm acquainted with a couple gals just like this. It's pretty darn funny. And yeah, I'm an asshole, so I laugh about it. And I'll point these things out to some people on occasion, you know, but that kind of goes one ear out the other. But that's what we're dealing with. So for all you guys out there that have experienced this, this is nothing new. But anyhow, that'll be going to go over here. A little refresher on the level of delusion out there. It doesn't change. But I'll give this chick credit. At least she did admit that that dude was right, and she apologized for being an asshole about it. But anyhow, that's rare. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, guys, if you encountered a situation like this where you've given a dose of reality to some of these gals that you're friends with, acquainted with, family, whatever. How'd that go? Did they listen and take some of your advice, or nope, I'm different? You know what you're talking about. I'm so special and amazing. How that worked out for them? I'd like to hear about in the comment section. And guys, you got a great story to share, definitely send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and if it works for the channel, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.